Students, continuing with our discussion on unit number 6, that is optimization. In the previous lectures we have solved normal specification problem. So normal specification problem are those problems where number of free variables are more than or equal to number of SDs. Then there is another type of optimization problem, that is called redundant specification problem. So redundant specification problems are those problems where number of free variables are less than number of SDs. So if the number of free variables are less than number of SDs, then how to solve the optimization problem? So that is nothing but redundant specification problem. So to explain a redundant specification problem, I have taken one problem directly. So this is a cantilever beam or cantilever shaft is there, whose cross-sectional area is circular. So this is the cantilever shaft. Then one force is acting at its free end. The length of the shaft is denoted by capital L. The diameter of the shaft is denoted by small d. The value of this force is given as 15 kilonewton. So this force is 15 kilonewton, and the factor of safety, so this is factor of safety, and it is given as 1.75. So these two parameters are given in the problem. One is force which is acting at its free end of the cantilever beam, that is of 15 kilonewton, and another one is factor of safety 1.75. Then there are two constraints given. And what are those constraints? The constraint is diameter of the shaft should not be less than 30 mm and should not be more than 100 mm. So there is a limit imposed on the diameter of a shaft. And what is that limit imposed? That the diameter of the shaft should be in between 30 mm to 100 mm. It should not be less than 30 mm and it should not be more than 100 mm. So that is a constraint which is imposed on this variable d, diameter. Okay. Then there is another constraint imposed on another parameter, that is capital L, shaft length. And what is that constraint? It should not be less than 500 and should not be more than 700. So length should be in between 500 mm to 700 mm. It should not be less than 500 mm and should not be more than 700 mm. So two constraints are imposed on the two parameters, that is D and L. Okay. Then what we need to find out? We need to find out the diameter of the shaft, we need to find out the length of the shaft, and the optimizing objective is for maximum energy absorption. So whichever material which gives maximum energy absorption will be selected. Okay. Now there are three materials are given. The materials are the materials for which we need to materials given are SAE 1030, then SAE 3240, and aluminium number 38. So these are the three materials given, and out of which we need to select a material which will give us a value of maximum energy absorption. Okay. So whichever the material which gives maximum energy absorption will be selected, but the constraint is diameter should be in between 30 to 100 mm and length of the cantilever beam should be between 500 to 700 mm. Okay. So So how to identify whether it is a normal specification problem or redundant specification problem? So whenever there is any limit imposed on any of the parameter in the problem, then such problems are called as redundant specification problem. In the normal specification problems, we have seen that there is absolutely no constraint imposed on any of the parameter in the problem. Okay, so only universal constraint which is there for every design parameter, that is the bending stress should be less than the yield strength of the material. So that is a universal parameter, just keep it aside. But apart from the bending strength, if constraint is imposed on any of the parameter, then such problem is treated as redundant specification. And when there is no constraint imposed on any of the parameter in the problem, then such problems are normal specification problem. So there is another way, like by checking the number of free variables and number of SDs, that is one method. But the layman's method, this is by simply observing the problem, you can actually categorize the problem into normal specification and redundant specification problems. In normal specification, no constraint is imposed on any of the parameter, whereas whenever there is any one constraint imposed on any one parameter, that means it is a problem of redundant specification. So this is how you can identify redundant specification problem and normal specification problem. So redundant specification problem contains 2-3 more steps as compared to normal specification problem. So that is why normal specification problem generally comes for 10 marks and redundant specification problem comes for absolutely 13 marks. Okay, not less than that. So now we try to solve this problem. Actually, we have solved the maximum energy absorption problem in the normal specification case. But how to solve it? The flow of the solution is, you can say 60-70% similar as that of normal specification, but few more steps are there in redundant specification that we are going to see in this solution. So in solution, so first step is initial formulation. So step number 1 is initial formulation. Initial formulation means we need to define the primary design equations, subsidiary design equations and limiting equations. Okay, so first is primary design equation. Primary design equation, we call this as PDE. Now what is the objective of this problem? Is maximum energy absorption. So optimization is to be done for maximum energy absorption. So our primary design equation will be maximum energy absorption. Maximum energy absorption. Okay. And what is the formula for maximum energy absorption? It is denoted by U and it is given by half W into delta, where W is the force which is acting on the beam and delta is the deflection of the beam. So this is our primary design equation, PDE. Now we formulate subsidiary design equation. So subsidiary design equations, that is SDE. Okay, so first, So SDs are those equations which are written in support to the primary design equation. So first is the bending stress. So bending stress is given by m by z. Okay, so this is bending stress. Then second one, bending stress is given m by z. M is bending moment and z is section modulus. So next we write down m. So m, you go to your design data book and check the bending moment for cantilever beam where the force is acting at its free end. So it is given by W into L. So this is bending moment. Then the third one is Z, that is section modulus. Section modulus, again check the design data book. Section modulus is given by pi by 32 dq. Okay, so this is section modulus. Then fourth one is moment of inertia, I. So moment of inertia for this type of arrangement is given by pi by 64 d to the power 4. So this is moment of inertia. And the fifth one is the deflection, delta. Delta is given by WL cube upon 3ER. You can check this formula from design data book. It is WL cube upon 3ER. And this is nothing but deflection. Okay, so these are 5 number of SDs. So how many SDs are there? Total 5 SDs. And then limiting equation. So what are limiting equations? Limiting equations are those equations where the constraints are imposed. So first universal constraint is the bending stress should be less than or equal to the yield strength upon factor of safety. So here shear. So yield shear strength of the material divided by factor of safety. So this is the first limiting equation. But in the normal specification problem there is only one limiting equation. But in redundant specification problem there are more than one limiting equations. So this is first. Second one is this one. So 30 less than D less than 100. So this is also limiting equation because the constraint is imposed on the diameter of a shaft. It should be between 30 mm to 100 mm. So this is also a limiting equation. Similarly, constraint is imposed on the length of the shaft. So it should be between 500 to 700. So again limit is imposed on the length of the shaft. So this also will go into the limiting equation. So 500 less than L less than 700 mm. Okay. So these are the 3 limiting equations. Now next is to categorize the equations into 5 category. Now step number 2. Classification variables. So all the variables which are whatever we are using in primary design equation to subsidiary design equation to limiting equations. So all those variables we need to classify under 5 categories. And what are those 5 categories? First is the optimizing variable. Optimizing variable. Okay. Then second is material constant. Third one is functional variable. Fourth one is constraint variable. And fifth one is limiting free variable, free variables. Okay. Now we start categorizing the variables into these 5 categories. Okay, we start with primary design equation, that is U, energy absorption. So this U is what? This is our optimizing parameter. So this is optimizing parameter. U will go into optimizing parameter. Then W. So W value is given in the problem. So we know that functional variables are those variables whose values are given in the problem. So this W will go into the functional variable category. Then delta. So this delta is a deflection. Okay. So it is not optimizing, it is not material constant, no limit is imposed on the delta. So it will go into the category of free variables. Okay. Then sigma b. So sigma b, so here you can see that there is a limit imposed on sigma b. So it is constraint variable. So sigma b is constraint variable. Then m. M is what? M is a free variable because it is not constraint variable, not functional variable, not is a material constant, and it is not optimizing parameter. Then Z. So ये हो गया, this हो गया. This we have covered. This we have covered. This we have covered. This we have covered. Z. Z is also free variable. Then M हो गया, W हो गया, L. L is a, since limit is imposed, constraint is imposed, that is why this is constraint variable. So L हो गया. Z. So Z already अपन ने लिख चुके. Small d. So small d, again constraint is imposed here, so it will go into constraint variable. Small d. So small d हो गया I. So I is a free variable. I हो गया, D हो गया, delta हो गया, W हो गया, L हो गया, 3 E. So E is a Young's modulus. That means it is a material constant. So this is a material constant. E is material constant. So E हो गया, I हो गया, ये भी हो गया. Then yield strength of a material. It is a material constant. So yield strength. So sigma ys is a material constant. So it will go into this category. Okay. And n. N is a functional variable. So because the value of n is given in the problem, so it is a functional variable. Okay. So in this way we have categorized all the variables into these 5 categories. So out of which number of free variables are how many? 4. Delta, M, Z and I. So these are the 4 number of free variables. And how many number of SDs? there are 5 SDs. So since number of free variables are less than number of SDs, therefore this is redundant specification problem. Okay, so this statement will come here. Since number of free variables are less than number of SDs, this is a redundant specification problem. In case of normal specification problem, number of free variables are either greater than or equal to number of SDs. So when number of free variables are more than or equal to number of SDs, then that is a normal specification problem. But in redundant specification, number of free variables are less than number of SDs. Okay, so in this way we have defined the optimizing problem as redundant specification. Now we try to move forward. So for this now we try to develop a relation here. So we know that sigma b is given by sigma b should be less than or equal to sigma ys upon n. Okay, and similarly we know that sigma b is equal to m by z. Okay, so bending stress is equal to m by z, and bending stress should be less than or equal to sigma y by s. So what we'll do, we equate with each other. So m is what? M is nothing but z is what? Pi by 32 dq, and n is what? W into L. So m is W into L. So we can say that sigma ys upon n is equal to 32 WL upon pi dq. So since we need to find out the d, so what we'll do, we take the d on left hand side. So dq is equal to 32 WLN upon pi into sigma y. Okay, and that is nothing but, and this is nothing but d equal to 32 WLN upon pi sigma ys to the power 1 by 3. Okay, now here there are some functional variables and some material constants. So we sort out the functional variables and material constants. So 32 WLN upon pi, this is 1 and another 1 by, so this is 1 by 3, and sigma ys 1 by 3. So same equation, but we have categorized into the material constant and the remaining one. Okay, Now here the value of W is given, value of N is given, and maximum value of L we consider. So W is given 15 into 10 to the power 3 Newton. N is given as 1.75, and L max we consider maximum. Okay, we try to find out the diameter for the maximum length. So maximum length is given 700 mm. So D equal to 32 into 15 into 10 to the power 3 into 700 into 1.75 divided by pi into 1 upon sigma ys to the power 1 by 3, and this D comes out to be 572.02 into 1 upon sigma ys to the power 1 by 3. Okay, that means this diameter is related to sigma ys. So this is material specific. So any material whose value will depend upon the diameter, will affect the diameter. Okay, so for this what we'll do, we plot a table. So plot a table here, material, then sigma yield strength of that material, then we calculate the value of D here as 572.02 into 1 upon sigma ys to the power 1 by 3, and here we write down the remark. Okay. Now first material is SE 1030, then SAE 3240, and aluminium number 38. So sigma yield strength of SAE 1030 is given 296 into 10 to the power 3. This is in megapascal. Then SAE 3240 is 810 into 10 to the power 3, and then aluminium is 112 into 10 to the power 3. Now from this you can actually calculate, here I think into 10 to the power 3 will come. So if you put this value in this equation, then the diameter is 85.83 mm, this is 61.36 mm, and 118.67 mm. Now these are the three diameters calculated for three materials. But if you check the constraint imposed on the diameter, then that means anything more than 100 and anything less than 30 will be rejected. Okay, so here aluminium is giving us the diameter of the shaft as 118.67 mm, which is out of our limit. So this material is rejected. Okay, whereas SAE 1030 and SAE 3240 both are giving the diameter within the range. So this will be selected for further optimization process. Okay, So we have selected SAE 1030 and SAE 3240 for further optimization, whereas this aluminium 38 is rejected. Okay. So now we try to find out which material out of these selected material will give the maximum energy absorption. So maximum energy absorption U is given by 1 by 2 W into delta. So delta, we know delta is WL cube upon 3 EI. So delta is replaced by WL cube upon 3 EI. Okay. So this is nothing but 1 by 2 W square L cube upon 3 EI. Now we know that I is the moment of inertia, which is given by pi by 64 d to the power 4. Okay. So this is 1 by 2 W square L cube upon 3E, and this is pi by 64. So this will be 64 pi into d to the power 4. Okay. Yes. Now put W is equal to 15 into 10 to the power 3 kilonewton, L as 700 mm. Okay. So this equation is reduced to so 64 upon 2 into 3 into pi. These are the constants, into W square L cube into 1 upon E into d to the power 4. So we have sorted out the variables as the functional variables and the other variables, material constant and D. So D we still have to find out, and E is material constant. So if you put these values, then it is 2.62 into 10 to the power 17, 10 to the power 17, 1 upon E d to the power 4. Okay. Now, which material will give us the maximum energy absorption, that we need to plot. Now, there is a competition between these two material only, because aluminium has already been rejected at the earlier stage itself. So now we plot material, its Young's modulus value in megapascal, then D, and then energy absorption U is equal to 2.62 into 10 to the power 17, 1 upon E d to the power 4, and then the remark. Okay, and what are the values? First is SAE 1030 and SAE 3240. What is Young's modulus for SAE 1030? It is 204 into 10 to the power 3, and that of 208 into 10 to the power 3. Okay. The diameter that we have calculated for this material is 85.61, 85.83, and this is 61.36. Now if you put these value of E and D in this equation, then for SAE1030 the maximum energy absorption value comes out to be 28.66 into 10 to the power 3. Okay, and that of SAE3240 is 88.86 into 10 to the power 3. Okay, so from these two we can say that SAE3240 give us the maximum energy absorption, okay, which is our optimizing variable, or which is our objective of this optimization problem. So that is why we select this material as our final material. Okay, so and the diameter will be this one, and the length will be, we select the maximum 700 mm. Okay, so this is how redundant specification problems are solved. First we need to optimize one of the constraint variable, and then you find out the final optimizing variable in this redundant specification problem. So hope you have understood the redundant specification and normal specification problem. Okay, so thank you very much.